and it's my great pleasure to welcome to the studio Herb Smith, trumpeter with the RPO, and coordinating the music for Concert to End Hate coming up on October 4th, this coming Wednesday. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about it.
I'm excited to have you here.
Yeah.
We were just talking off air that you have your own radio show.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's called Jazz at Eastman, Past, Present, Future, and it deals with music connecting to Eastman. That's alumni, students, faculty throughout the years.
And you said that you had one with Keith Jarrett.
Keith Jarrett came. Keith Jarrett came and did a concert with Eastman back in 1976. He did back then. He was doing these spontaneous improvisations where he would just improv a whole concert. So he did that, and then the other thing he did was he wrote two pieces for studio orchestra, and we going to be airing that too. So.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Where can people find out more about your show?
WGMC, and you can just go to the website and check it out. And it's Jazz at Eastman, Past, Present, Future. You can, I believe that the shows are archived too, so you can go back and listen to shows if you want.
That's really great. Yeah. Okay. But this other show, Concert to End Hate, coming up.
Yes.
The theme, what was the theme? I have it down here somewhere. Opening hearts and connections with others and through music.
Yes.
So we were also talking about the idea of having I was talking about you coming in and doing a guest DJ spot, and you were saying how it's great to, you can see into what people are all about more by what music they choose and what they might do through music, and this show is kind of like that.
Yeah, the show is really good because the Levine Center approached me about being part of the music for this concert. And the first thing I thought of was we can't do a concert about hate. We need to do a concert about love. Like if we're going to end hate, you got to send love. And so my whole premise with this is basically, and working with Chaz and Monica and Sierra at the Levine Center has just been great. And they've been indulging me with my ideas, so it's been fantastic. But the whole thing is you see someone or hear about someone that's doing something like prejudice or racist or something that's very excluding. And you want to, I hate that. Why do they do that? I hate that. And to me, that's just adding hate. That's just adding hate. So how can we send love to that? And we came up with this, how do you hate people that hate? I mean, how do you love? So I said that wrong. How do you love people that hate?
Yeah, I just actually found it on my piece of paper here. The theme, how do you love someone who hates?
Yeah.
So, that's an interesting question. And so you construct this show, and you come, and I love what you're doing with it. With the it's like a Prism style concert.
Yes,
it's at Artisan Works on Wednesday, the 4th, this coming week, 7:00. You can find out more about it at the. Where can you find out more about that? I haven't.
Well, you can go to the Levine Center website, but the thing about it is, tickets will not be sold at the door. Mm-hmm. That's important to know that. So get your tickets online, pick those up. They will not be sold at the door. I'm hoping. Right now tickets are kind of selling pretty well. So I'm hoping that we don't have a line of people there, trying to get in. But it is a Prism style concert, which basically means there's going to be music in the front, music behind you, music to the side of you, and the point of focus will change as the concert goes through.
Which is a perfect way to sort of put you in the whole mindset of how do you approach loving someone who hates.
Yes.
And you have your jazz trio will be playing Strings for Success.
Yes.
A 10-piece.
It's actually 27 kids.
27 kids.
They all play violin. It's 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. Patty Yarmel is the leader of that.
Patty Yarmel.
Yes, yes.
That's a familiar name.
Yes, yes.
Because someone named Ryan Yarmel is on in a couple hours here.
Exactly. And so they'll be playing. And then also it's about a 12-piece orchestra that I put together that's going to be playing. And one of the songs they're playing is a world premiere of a song I wrote called Coming Together. And then there will also be the Eastman Youth Jazz Ensemble, Jazz Orchestra playing. I direct that at Eastman. So I got those guys to come up and play too. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun.
So you write a song sort of along these lines, and you approach it as an instrumentalist, I imagine. I don't probably know lyrics in the song. And how do you approach something like that with such a specific idea when you're using no words? How do you begin to compose something like that?
Well, I think for me, like, it has to come out of an experience of my own. Like I can't write music about something that I haven't kind of internalized, And there's been many times where I've met someone and disagreed with them or whatever, and then like you try to get them to see your side of the view, and it just never comes together. And there was a man in my life who I really respected, and I ended up parting ways with him, and I wanted to basically agree to disagree. I wanted us to be able to agree to disagree. And he would not do it. He would not agree to disagree. He just would not do it. And at the time, I was so angry about that. But then later I thought, wow, that is such a gift, because it's not going to happen all the time where you can agree to disagree with someone. You have to be okay with someone having a different view than you, and then find common ground. And that's really what the piece is about. It's about like there's kind of one way that it goes, and there's another way that it goes, and then there's a jumble of stuff in the middle, and then it comes together at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Coming Together is the name of the song.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I kind of wrote that piece. And it's weird because like when I'm writing a song, you don't know where it's going a lot of times. Sometimes it goes one way, and then it kind of makes a left turn. You're like, okay, where did that go? But no, the piece is really great. I'm excited about it. Really good. Really excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's you have a little conflict in your pieces, a little conflict, and then you sort of resolve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
An intuitive way of making it come across by sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
And music to me really kind of transcends, a lot of our inhibitions and a lot of our issues. Like, you could be angry with someone and then a song comes on and everybody's dancing. It's really, and you being a DJ, that. Like music just brings people together,
That was such a visual, the way you said that. A song comes on, everyone's dancing. I can just see the room. It's great. Herb Smith is our guest this morning. He's trumpeter with the RPO and putting together the concert to end hate, which is this Wednesday on October 4th at Artisan Works in Rochester on Bourbon Street, 7 o'clock. Find out more about it at the Levine Center website, endhaterock.org. I eventually find things, so I try not to look for them. So how did you start playing trumpet? Where'd that come from? Was that something you said, I have to play trumpet, or did someone say, you're going to play trumpet?
It was a weird thing, and I always tell this story, but it's kind of like, I just remember being in third grade and seeing kids like walking down the hallway with instruments. And I was kind of like, wow, those are kind of cool. Like maybe I can do that. Can I do that? And then in fourth grade, you go into was a meeting where the parents and the kids had to come in, and me and my dad, and the band director, Mr. John Dooley at Pleasant Ridge School in Cincinnati, Ohio, played all the instruments, trumpet, flute, trombone, clarinet, tuba, percussion, everything. And I just as a kid, I'm just looking at the different instruments, thinking, no, tuba, that's too big, flute, too small, clarinet, I don't know about that wooden reed thing. But the trumpet was like, kind of like a Goldilocks instrument. Like it's not too big, not too small, it's shiny. And the rest is history. I'm still playing it. Like we were talking earlier, like I've been practicing the trumpet since I was 9 years old. I am 54 and I'm still practicing it and still love it. So yeah, that was just how I started. And, just ended kind of like, I remember the band director saying, "Hey, I think you're pretty good at this." I was like, "Okay, I am," Yeah, that's how I
Do
got
you
it.
remember your first solo in band?
Oh my goodness, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I remember because we had a little band arrangement of Kenny Rogers' "Still." Remember that song, "Still"?
I remember Kenny Rogers. I don't remember Still. I'd probably know if I heard it.
Yeah, "Still." We had a band arrangement of that, and I remember there was a girl in the band whose name is Shannon. I just remember her name. She played clarinet, and she was in front of me, and I just thought she was so cute. And I wanted to make sure that I played the solo well. And that was my first solo, and that was my first solo in band on Kenny Rogers' "Still."
Wow.
Wow, I just remember. I hadn't thought about that in years.
Wow. So there was never any point then in your playing, it sounds like, that you said, okay, now I'm serious about it. It sounds like it was sort of like a slow, organic building of talent and desire.
That is exactly right. Yeah, I just in the school I went to 5th grade, and then I had to make a decision to go to another school in 6th grade, like a middle school. And I had a choice between going into like a school, like a creative arts school, kind of like our SOTA here in town, or going to kind of like a mapping group. And I was very good at math. I kind of had I could choose between the two. The math school didn't have a music program, but the creative arts school obviously had some math. And I just remember thinking, I kind of like the trumpet still. I don't want to give it up. I wasn't like, trumpet is my calling. That's 6th grade. I was more just, it feels pretty good. I want to stay with it. And then that was it. Like once I went to that school, I stayed in that school all the way till 12th grade, and then left there and came here to Rochester to go to Eastman School of Music. And even when that happened, I really didn't really know much about the Eastman School of Music. There was a teacher that had come in. He was at Eastman grad. He was like, "I think you should audition for Eastman." And I was like, "Okay, what's Eastman?" And yeah, and just I still love it. I still love it today. I just got a new trumpet. I'm in conjunction with Con Selmer. They make Bach trumpets, and I just got this brand new trumpet, like maybe a couple weeks ago, and I am like a kid in a candy store. I'm just loving it.
Oh, that's great. I have a lot of friends who are like that with guitars. So
Oh, my goodness, yes.
I can sort of vicariously live through them.
Yeah.
I could see that a new trumpet would be really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Your writing. When did you start doing writing? We were talking about coming home, going to premiere it.
Yeah.
Or coming together. Coming together, going to premiere it on Wednesday. I should reintroduce you. Herb Smith here with us, trumpeter with the RPO, and also the music coordinator for the Concert to End Hate on October 4th, this Wednesday at Artisan Works.
Yes.
Yes. There's information for it all out there.
Yeah.
You can find it. And you have to get your tickets beforehand because they don't have tickets at the door.
Right. Right. Right.
So you're going to be premiering your piece, Coming Together, and how did you first begin to? I'm always curious about that because so many people say, "Well, I could never write a song."
Right.
I can't write a song, but
Right.
some people think, "Oh, I can write a song."
Well,
So how did that come about?
yeah, it was interesting because I was part of a church, and I've always played music, and then I took an arranging class in Eastman, when I was a senior in college. But I still wasn't like really writing music. It was kind of like I just took the class, and I think I just barely got through it. But when I was involved with the church, and my at the time, even my brother-in-law was the head of the music there. We would work together and write songs for the church, and it was fantastic because you could really write a song, and then you had an instant outlet for it to be performed. So we could write it and then like rehearse it that week and then play it, and just you start going, oh, okay, wow, that works. Oh, okay, ooh, that one didn't work so well. You can kind of start evaluating, and you really start to just build up that muscle of writing and hearing the sounds, in your head, and just from there, I just kind of started my own like little jazz quintet, and I started like writing little tunes for that, and now I have my trio, and now I'm writing things for my brass quintet that I play in. It's called Gateways Brass Collective, and I write songs for them as well. And so it was a weird thing that happened to me because the brass quintet is 5 parts: 2 trumpets, French horn, trombone, and tuba. And if you think about a string orchestra is 5 parts as well: first and second violin, viola, cello, bass. So as I'm writing for brass quintet, I'm realizing, oh, wow, I can also write for string orchestra too. It's got the same kind of stacking of instruments from high to low. And then I just kind of started playing around with writing with string orchestras. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. But I definitely, when I was first starting it, I was definitely intimidated by like trying to write for 5 parts, But it starts to come to you as you do it.
Where do you begin? It must be like a theme line or something, and you can build off of that, or you hear like one echo of one instrument. Oh, that would be great to put that in. So and then just sort of intuitively, again, I'm using that word again, but
yeah.
I mean, it just is sort of. It must just hit you in a certain way.
It does, and it's interesting because I don't always know where it's going to start. I mean, sometimes it just starts from like a bass line or something, or sometimes it'll start from like a melody, and then I'll fill in the rest of the parts. Sometimes it'll start from just like a kind of a rhythm, and then I'm like, okay, that's a great rhythm. Let's develop that. And now let's put a melody over top of that rhythm,
Yeah.
So just, it kind of just comes differently every time. But like once I get in it, then I'm like, okay, I'm here. Now I can do this,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and you'll also be playing your song "Healing"
Yeah.
On Wednesday.
Right.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about that song. I find that as another interesting concept for a song.
Yeah. So I wrote Healing probably around 2020, right after the pandemic. I got COVID really badly.
Oh, boy.
I got it. And I got, as they say, the OG COVID, where before there were vaccines. So I was really out of it. And that was a whole thing because like you're sick, you feel terrible, and you have this looming thing. Oh my God, am I going to die? This whole thing. And really what saved me was doing walks in the middle of the night. Like I would just wake up, I would check my pulse ox and would be super low. And I would just get up and walk and try to get more air into my body. And I really think that, along with some special drugs that I got, or whatever, just some lung stuff. But anyway, as I was coming out of that, and it took me like 3 months really to come out of that, I started to hear some music, and I was to me, that was like, okay, this is showing me that I'm healing. Like I kind of felt like my body everything was focused on healing me. And now once my body was kind of starting to heal, then I could like focus on some music. So I wrote this piece called Healing, you know, and I just really like it. The song, you know, it has a nice little groove to it. It's got strings in it, trumpet. It also has a Langston Hughes poem that is spoken in the middle of it. The poem is called Go Slow. So I'm really excited about that. And Doug Curry, who is does
tonight.
Yeah, he's
9 to midnight. Blacks and Blues.
He's right. He's going to be the narrator.
The best voice in radio ever, anywhere.
I could tell that on the phone. I talked to him on the phone.
He's
going to be
incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah, he will be incredible.
Yeah, so
I was going to ask who was going to be
Yeah.
the voice, and Doug Curry. He's the guy.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, he's in plays too. He does acting, and he also reads poetry.
Right.
I think he writes it. So
Okay, fantastic.
yeah, multi-talented. Speaking of, do you play other instruments too? You were talking about your first teacher who played all the instruments.
Yeah.
Did you ever jump into other instruments as well?
I am pretty much just a trumpet player. I do play guitar very badly. I mean, like, you know, if you can play 4 or 5 chords, you can probably play 100, 200 songs.
Yes.
In one key.
Oh.
A couple keys, maybe.
3 chords. Usually 3 chords.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can do, 4 or 5. And I used to write little songs on the guitar. I still do write little songs, like little kid songs on the guitar. They're just like kind of 3, 4 chord songs. But other than just a little bit of guitar, that's pretty much it. Guitar, trumpet is number 1, and then a little bit guitar.
Yeah. Well, guitars are. I remember my first time playing a guitar, and someone showed me a G chord. And
Right.
I've told this before, but I'll tell it again. And it was like, wow. I mean, I played it. It sounded like real music. I could play real music. It was, of course, I learned that it's not quite as easy as that, but it was
A G chord is a G chord.
A G chord is
You know
a
what
G
I mean?
chord. Doesn't matter who plays it, or how good you are, or how many times you played it. Herb Smith, once again, our guest this morning. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the concert and hate. You know, how spread like you've got your 2 songs you're doing. Are they going to be orchestrated? You're going to encompass Strings for Success and the youth jazz orchestra. Is it ever going to be playing together? There's little bits from one group and another group over here, and then sort of like a big.
Yeah, we'll have a finale
Okay.
with things going.
Yeah, so maybe talk a little bit about the music and what it's going to be. Your concepts for putting it together.
So like I was reading this book, and one of the things the book said was, if everyone played the same note, there would be no music.
It's a great line,
right?
It's a
If
great
everyone
line.
played the same note, there'd be no music. And so to me, that is like a metaphor for, we're all different. We have to embrace that, because that's the music. You kind of want, you find your circles, you hang around with your people and stuff, but you really want to embrace all the music, and then you have all the tones, and then you have you actually have a symphony, And so that's really kind of what this is. We have different types of music, but all kind of on around this same theme. Strings for Success does a little Harriet Tubman thing. They're also doing a little bit of Dave Brubeck, Take 5.
Mm-hmm.
My group is going to be playing some blues. My Eastman Youth Jazz Orchestra will be playing some blues and some Count Basie. This orchestra is going to be, one of the pieces that we're playing is the Telemann Trumpet Concerto, and I'll be playing that on a little piccolo trumpet. So that's going to be fun, really, like right down the middle of classical music, And a lot of the music I write kind of bridges the gap between classical and jazz. So it really is going to kind of hit you on all sides of the music spectrum, and then hopefully like that's just a metaphor for like just being open to all sides of people. I was they say that, like, when you look at a person, they say, like, we're all humans, but we're actually more like twins than we are. We're more like twins than we are brothers and sisters, actually, because, like, if you look at the DNA, everyone's got the same DNA for like a very long time, and then it starts switching way, way down the line. So it's kind of like, yeah, we have to embrace that. We have to send love to people that don't necessarily agree with us, or people that are doing things that harm. Not that you want to condone that behavior, but just like, how can we see the humanity in others and have a conversation?
And you can indulge yourself in that whole thing, that whole concept on Wednesday. Concert and Hate, Herb Smith with his jazz trio, Strings for Success, Eastman Youth Jazz Orchestra, all at the Artisan Works, 7 o'clock.
Yep.
I really appreciate you coming in this morning, Herb.
Thank you for having me.
It's really been fun.
Yeah.
You said something about the piccolo trumpet, and
Yep.
it made me think of the Beatles. Was it
Yes.
Sgt. Pepper? What is it?
No, Penny Lane.
Penny Lane or something? Keep going while I find it.
Oh, I love that. I got a chance to play that.
Did you really?
Yes, I got a chance to play that, and it was just a dream come true.
Where was that? Where did you get a chance to play that?
I played it with a band called Mr. Mustard in town.
I know Mr. Mustard,
and
sure.
yeah, and we played it at Penfield Amphitheater a while ago, and it was so much fun to play that solo. Penny Lane.
And
yes.
on that note, you just chose the next song. Herb
Awesome.
Smith, thanks so much for coming in, and
Thank
thanks
you.
for singing your part on to introduce the Beatles with Penny Lane. Again, it's Concert and Hate on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, the 4th, at 7 o'clock at Artisan Works. Thanks again.
Thank you.